time to finish off the garden feature by planting it up with flowers and veggies that will simply enhance the space and, of course, add value. We promised you that we're going to show you two different options of the feature that we're building. Two different planting options, deciding exactly what you're wanting. So, one, I've got a perennial option of flowering plants, and the other is a veggie garden. Now, I never want to hear the excuse that I don't have enough space to be able to grow veggies, because that is the poorest excuse that I've ever heard. So let's go through the veggie option. Within this feature that we've got, you can grow many things. Things like dwarf beans. You can buy them in trays at your local garden centre, already with flowers on. Spinach, as easy as anything. Commonly known as spinach in South Africa, but it's actually Swiss chard. Cook it exactly the same way. The more you pick it, the more it grows. And then you, of course, will have loads of spinach for you and your family. Sage. No garden should be without sage. Sage, most times in any garden, is killed because we overwater it. This is a tricolour sage. You can see with its beautiful coloration here. Keep it dry. Tomatoes, great. These are little cherry tomatoes, which we'll place in the top to be able to come tumbling down. And of course, one or two lettuce, which are the perpetual lettuce. Now remember, with these lettuce, they don't form a head. So as you're needing lettuce for your salad, you just pick them and use them. The more you pick, the more leaves they make. And of course, you want to have something in this little veggie garden that's going to protect all these special guys from any hohos and nunus. And one sure way of doing that is planting a nasturtium. So by having nasturtiums in your veggie garden is a sure way to protect the rest of your veggies from aphids. They are far rather going to want to go to this guy than go and attack your others. So this is a sure winner to plant. The other thing is it grows like a weed, which is great. And of course, don't forget the edible flowers that you can use, like pansies for the winter season are beautiful. Remember, use these in salads as well. Completely edible, I kid you not. And of course, don't forget the little dianthus. They used to be called pinks, completely edible as well. Place these little guys in salads and chomp away at them. Add a great interest to any garden salad. So there you have it, an edible feature that you can have in your garden. If you're looking for another option, something that's going to give you lots of colour and be a real blaze, then here are some options that you can go with. This little guy is a lavender Margaret Roberts. Nice and compact, and now this is a way to shop. If you're in a budget, go around to the section of the garden centre that sells plants in packs of 4 like this. So here you're getting one plant which is going to grow up into one big guy like this. And then these guys, commonly known as miniature petunias or calibrachoas, beautiful in any kind of area that is hot, sunny, where it can cascade. A perennial plant which is going to go on for at least 1.5 years in your garden. And then remember, in order to bring out other colours, always try and use grey in the garden. This little guy is called Leucophyta. It is an interesting plant. And these are the leaves. The leaves are modified to form almost these little spikes. And put it against any colour. Look at that. Look what happens. The colour just jumps out. This little guy over here is called a coreopsis. This is the double coreopsis. Now, some of you might be looking at this and saying, but Tanya, I remember a plant like this, and it used to look like a weed. It almost looked like cosmos. You're absolutely right. But these are now the double hybrids. Nice and compact, sun-loving, beautiful, tough as nails. And then a little cascading petunia to finish it off. And there you have a beautiful, colourful, perennial garden that's going to go on for a long, long time. Right, folks, the wall is ready for our potting mixture, which we're going to be putting in. Now, this is a plain potting soil from our local garden centre, but most importantly, it's the things that we've added into it. We've added in to each bucket a good 2 of these spadefuls of bone meal, and inside it, 2 of the heaped spoons of stockersorb. Now, stockersorb is a water-absorbing granule which will help with the concrete blocks, and it's going to help this potting soil to maintain all its moisture. So all we're going to do now is take little spadefuls and start filling in. It's easier to do it this way. You are not going to fill the hole up all the way to the top. That's really important. Alrighty, Garth, you're going to do the pretty flowers.
Yes, Tanya.
For that side of the wall, and I'm going to do the veggies on this side.
Okay.
And if you had filled it all the way to the top, you're then going to be digging this out. Now, and here I'm putting the little bush beans. Grab a handful of this, because then we can then start filling in. So one bush bean in here is going to be just perfect. Remember, bush beans don't get more than 30 centimeters in height or spread out about 20 centimeters. And where each one of these little flowers are, that's where your little bean is going to start. Most importantly, all they need is loads of sun and give them ample watering and feeding. We spoke about the lavender as one of the fantastic plants that we can use in here, and they really are so incredibly rewarding. Remember, lavenders, all they're needing is loads and loads of sun. If you've got sun and you don't overwater them, well then lavenders are the one for you. I'm going to pop a little guy in there. Now remember, with lavenders, what can you do with them? Well, besides using the flowers as a garnish in salads, you can dry the actual leaves. So break them off like this. You could then take them, lay them on a piece of newspaper and lie them in the garage or well-aired place and wait till they dry. You can then use them in pot purees. You can also put them in your pillowcases, because lavender, the oils and the scent of lavender is great to ease sleeping and tension. If you've got a headache, well, here you go. You take some lavender, put it on your temple, and you rub it. Because as those oils start releasing, oh, you just get that most amazing fragrance. Another great thing, if you've had a really, really hard day, you go along to your lavender plants, grab a few bits like this, take a whole bunch like this, and hang it, tie it, and hang it underneath the hot tap of your bath. And as the hot water runs over it, so it releases all the oils. And the oils then go into the bath, and you have this most amazing lavender-scented bath. What more could anybody want? So there you have it, a feature in a couple of hours. Yes, of course, this did take 2 days to dry, but wasn't it all worth it? I mean, look how beautiful it is with the light shining behind it. An absolute magnificent feature. Remember, of course, you could take this, you could attach it to a wall, you could just put it somewhere within a planting or foliage planting where there's a gap behind so the sun can filter through. There are so many uses of this. Go out, try it, be different, and you will enjoy it. This week's question is from Vilma, who's from El Dorado Park, and she asks, what is the difference between an annual and a perennial? Now, folks, I am asked this many, many times. And the bottom line is, and to keep it very, very simple, without having to go into all the botanical stuff, is as follows. An annual lasts 1 year. Generally, it grows from seed, or you will buy it in a garden centre in a little punnet. But now, don't get confused, because some plants that you buy in punnets or seedling trays in a garden centre are also perennials. However, an annual lasts for 1 year. It will flower, produce a seed, or produce a fruit, and it will then die at the end of that season. A perennial, however, goes on for a good few years. And true examples of perennials are as follows. The little lavender that we used will last for about 3 to 4 years in your garden. A bean, however, is an annual, because that only grows one season, dies. Pick the seed and then you grow it the following year. This is a perennial because this will carry on for a good few years. Other examples of perennials are this little guy over here, the bacopa. Also, this little coreopsis and even the little miniature petunia. So those are generally the softer plants in your garden. Other things would be daylilies. They would be a perennial as well. So I hope that answers your question. If in doubt, remember, ask at your local garden centre or drop us an email at info@thehomechannel.co.za.
Make 15% more concrete from every bag. The Gardener is brought to you by PPC.